guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Wesley Chapel Toyota, and we have another Rady's Rides First. This is a 2019 4Runner, but it's not like any other 4Runner. This is the TRD Pro. So let's talk a little bit about Toyota history. Toyota has actually been around since the 1930s, if you could believe that. When it comes to the 4Runner, it first hit the scene back in 1984. Over the years, it's changed, but it's all been that same recipe that makes this thing so successful, especially when you add those letters, TRD Pro. TRD stands for Toyota Racing Development. Now, one thing to be aware is, even though this is 2019, they have not updated it like total redesign since 2010. So it's gonna look very similar to other TRD Pros, but guess what? For 2019, there have been some updates. The first thing is, I love this color. It's called Voodoo Blue. Only available on 2019. If you went and bought a 2018, it's not this color. Somebody's lying to you. So I love the color. When it comes to the front of the vehicle, this 4Runner Pro TRD has a wider track to it. Because the tires have been offset wider, it has a wider track that's gonna make this more stable, especially if you're lucky enough to live by any kind of deserts and do some desert off-road running. This thing's gonna be able to go faster than its predecessors because of that wider track. What I love about the styling though is no matter what, it just looks so great, so rugged. I love what they did, even though it was back in 2010 with the headlights. One area I am gonna zonk, even though I love how this thing gets flared out, are these fake vents here. I wish they just would have made it just flat black, don't have to put a fake grille design. Now, another zonk, which you can't see because it's the daytime, these lights are halogen, these are LED. That's a no-no. I think 21st century, 2019, we should have LEDs both top and bottom. Now, as we come across the massive front fascia, I just love that open grille design. I love the design of the open grille as well. Toyota badging right across. You have this large black area to kind of just give it some definition. I don't know if Tom could show off with his skills. Underneath here, you hear that? You have that metal TRD plate. Now, one thing to be aware is, see how you could actually read TRD in red? That's new for 2019. All the others are silver. So as you're going off-road, people are gonna be able, as they see you coming towards them, they're gonna be like, that's a TRD, we gotta get the hell out of here. But metal skid plate to protect all the inner bits underneath your 4Runner. As we come back up, there's another zonk. Besides those fake vents on the sides, what is up here? This hood scoop looks so beautiful. It's got a nice rise to it. It's fake. Toyota needs to make that a little functional. I think, especially if they've been playing with the same design since 2010, make that hood scoop functional. Come on, it's not gonna take billions of dollars. As we come around the corner, what I love about it is that they don't bring any flat black into the fenders. You have these nice flared out fenders, Voodoo Blue. Check out the wheels, TRD specific. It says it right there, Toyota Racing Development. Love the style. It's a 17-inch wheel, 265 on the width, and you have a nice tall 70 series sidewall. I'm gonna have Tom kind of zoom in a little bit here. New for 2019, you see those bright red springs? Those are TRD springs, and they're wrapped around a Fox suspension system. So this has the upgraded Fox racing suspension, very similar to what the Raptor has. Not the current Raptor, but last year's Raptor. Same basic setup, gonna give you, and those are big names. TRD is a big name. Fox Racing, especially if you're talking off-road, is a big name. As we come down the side, glad that they brought the Voodoo Blue onto the mirrors. No turn signals though, so just flat black plastic, and I'm fine with that, but it would be nice at this price point to have the turn signals built in. We come down the side with your TRD Pro, you're gonna get these really nice, not only is it gonna protect your frame from rocks and whatnot, but you get a nice sturdy step with plenty of grip. You're not gonna slip on that step. There's plenty of grip there, and I like the way also it has the protection for your frame if you're going over any kind of rocks or anything like that, because wait until we get in the inside. There's a lot of features like rock crawl that are gonna make you an off-road champion like Ivan Ironman Stewart. As we come down the side, love the proportions. New for 2019, you get this roof rack up here. Love that it's flat black, it's all powder coated. You got crossbars, put whatever you're gonna bring with you when you go off-roading up there. Looks amazing, just says that this thing is ready to get down and dirty. We go to the rear. I like the way they take the TRD Pro, very tasteful. It's like a gloss black, very nicely done. And coming out back, of course, we got the same similar style to 2010, so obviously a little bit dated on the taillights, but you know they work, they look good. I like the massive roof spoiler off the back. You got the chrome 4Runner badge, your black TRD Pro, a nice little black material on top of the bumper, so when you're pulling things out, of course you're gonna get that tow package. And I like the way everything is tucked. You have a single exhaust on the side, everything is tucked up because you don't want anything hanging down because it's just gonna catch on rocks or brush or whatever. But why don't we go ahead, pop the hood and see what's powering this 4Runner TRD Pro. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on the 4Runner TRD Pro. Tom and I did a little bit of arm wrestling on whether there would be a prop rod or hood struts. Guess what? I won. Hood struts on the 4Runner TRD Pro. Underneath there is quite a bit of plastic, but let's talk about what's underneath that plastic. First of all, I'm gonna zonk it because it's all black. I wish they would have brought some of that beautiful TRD red underneath here. What are these, cup holders? You're working on your engine, you can put your cups and your drinks in those cup holders, but basically underneath there, everything remains the same as last year, the year before, 2010. 4-liter V6, 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque. I guess you could go off the old adage, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. This has a 5-speed automatic transmission. It weighs in around 4,750 pounds. MPGs, not too shabby considering. 17 in the city, 20 on the highway. You do have a locking rear differential, but not a locking front diff. But that's one of the things with a Toyota, it seems like this design is timeless. And when we take this for a spin, power delivery wise, it's gonna probably be pretty close to what you'd expect from some newer vehicles. But why don't we go ahead, I'll shut up, we'll fire it up and see what does the 4Runner TRD Pro sound like. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 4Runner TRD Pro. I know a lot of you right now are probably saying, Joe, how much does this cost? It looks pretty badass. It also just has that Toyota reliability. We have the Rady's Rides truck driving by right now, dropping off some stickers and whatnot for everybody here at Wesley Chapel Toyota. But the way that this one sits, MSRP $49,974. Let's see what you get to the door panels. Now remember, this was last designed in 2010, so very simplistic, but I like the red contrast stitching. There's some like metallic black. It's not just flat gloss black. It's like a metallic black material on the hand pull to close the door. And you can see where you have your switch gear for the door locks and the windows at the top. It gets the business done, and you know what? The armrest has a nice touch to it, and it's soft material. This material, though, is harder than a rock, and that kind of makes sense because this thing could go over some rocks, but it's got a nice texture to it. I like this brushed aluminum look going on here, and I wish they would have used this a little bit more. When we get to the infotainment system, very, very small, simple setup. If you need Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, or anything like that, you need to look somewhere else. You don't get any of that. It is very dated. It is very small. You do have navigation, but I think this car has a personality to it that because it's lacking all these special things, it makes it cool. I don't know. I think we're going to come full circle. Like once cars like driving by themselves, people are going to want old school stuff back, and hopefully the manual transmission will be the transmission of choice. AC controls, no dual climate. You got good old fashioned knobs. Doesn't even have auto climate to keep the temperature at the same throughout the whole day. You do have a little cubby for your phone or your garage door opener. Got a 12 volt. You got your USB and your aux jack, which is nice, and I like the way they're covered. Another cubby. Now here's where it gets a little weird. There's a bunch of different textures and materials in here. There's this faux carbon fiber, which is cool, but I actually wish they would have used the brushed aluminum look that was on the right above the glove compartment over here. I think that might have really led to this being an off-road vehicle. You have your little shifter. This little guy is for your four-wheel drive, and then the bigger one is for the 5-speed automatic transmission. I do like the way that they give you a TRD nice pad up here, and it's got a nice brushed aluminum look, and it's real easy to go through the shift gates here. Now when you go into reverse, the camera isn't actually so bad. It doesn't have directionals, but that is going back to 2010. There's that Toyota 86. We did do a review on that. Not sure if it's up or not, but you do have a place for your phone, 2 cup holders. So one here, one here. I guess you could arm wrestle on who gets the one closer to the armrest. Heated seats, no ventilated seats. This button is cool because guess what? This button does something that not a lot of other SUVs do. It actually drops down the rear hatch window. So that's really cool to do. I don't know if Tom, do you want to show them, Tom? We'll put it down. See if you could get back there in the middle or something. Watch how you could actually raise it and then lower it. That to me is extra touches that you don't get in a lot of vehicles anymore. Nice sunroof, nice armrest. It's nice leather, softly padded with the red stitching. You open it up, you got a 12 volt, plenty of room in here. Surprisingly, a lot of room. And then the seats, they're on the simplistic side, but I like the TRD embroidery on the back. And I just wish they did maybe some perforated leather would look a little sexier than what's going on here. But you do have the red contrast stitching and whatnot, which is really nice. But why don't you come on over to the business end and I'll show you behind the wheel of this 4Runner TRD Pro. All right, guys, business end behind the wheel of this 4Runner TRD Pro. One thing I want to do is before we even get to the wheel, I want to talk about the extra controls you get because this is a TRD Pro. You have these 2 knobs located conveniently right up near the rearview mirror. The one on the left is your crawl control. So that's gonna make you look like a pro as you're going off-road. And then the other knob is for different terrain settings, which is really great. Easy to get to. They have a nice rubber texture to them that are great. You also have your buttons for locking the rear diff. So the rear diff locks. And then also, if you notice, it's hard to see, but there's 3 push buttons here. You could actually program 3 different garage doors to this. Now, what I wish those buttons did is that you maybe could, if you want to get some extra lights, maybe a winch, and have it wired through there, similar to like the Raptor and whatnot, that has all those auxiliary switches. That would have been a nice touch. But you do get full electric assist seats, which is great. Nice and comfortable. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom, and I'm also glad that they went with a lighter headliner in here. Steering wheel. Not the sexiest to look at, but it's the sexiest to touch. I love the thickness of it, the leather, it's all perforated. You have your controls. Here's something interesting right here. Here's the volume. It's actually very smart that they moved it kind of down here so you could get to the volume very easily instead of having to toggle through everything. When you're looking at the actual gauges, simplistic, but they do the job. I like the silver around the gauges and whatnot, but you could even see like in the center there, what is that? Is that like an old Miss Pac-Man game or something from the 1980s? But like I said, 2010, still gonna get the job done. And you know what? How does this compare to the Rubicon? This would be direct competition with that Jeep Rubicon. Why don't we go ahead though, check out the back seat and see how comfortable your passengers are gonna be as you're crushing rocks. All right guys, back seat time in the 4Runner TRD Pro. I love saying TRD Pro, it just sounds like badass, but I love the seating position here. You're actually sitting quite high where you could get a clear view out the front. So as you're going down that dirt road or you're going up the face of that mountain, you could see what your driver's seeing. Plus, I love the hood bulge. That hood bulge is sexiness. The problem is it's a zonk sexiness because it's not functional, but boy, does it look good. Seats feel great. I like the way they wrap the seats in full leather. I'm not really a big fan of this net material. I don't know why they did that, so I am gonna zonk that, but you do have your rear AC, and you know what? You don't have USB, but you got 2 12 volts. Some cars in the 21st century don't even have that, so I'm fine with that, but the seating position is great. The seats do not slide or anything. They don't recline, but the position is perfect, and I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom. They notched it out back here, which is nice, and then armrest. Look at this thing. Nice and soft. Oh my God, that's soft. So I like that. 2 cup holders. When you're done using it, you put it back. Why don't we go ahead though, and we're gonna check out that cargo area and see what we could put back there for your next adventure. All right, guys, tail end of the business. Let's open up that rear hatch area. So we lift it up, no electric assist, which is good because I like to just have it go up. I'm liking this. Look on the bumper. I like the way the rear bumper is actually lower than your entryway. So it gives you a nice ability to get things in, and it's gonna protect everything and take a beating. On the right-hand side, you got a home power source and a 12 volt. There's a little cubby area on both wheel arches. This has the JBL upgraded sound system. Plenty of room, even with the seats up. Obviously, those seats will do the 60-40 split, and you'll have tons of room back here for that getaway where you're gonna go into the mountains. And you know what? You're not going the easy way. You're going the hard way because you have a 4Runner TRD Pro. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and take this thing for a spin. All right, guys, we left Wesley Chapel Toyota. We're in the 2019 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. One thing right off the bat is this thing is comfortable. The seats feel great. They're nice and supportive, and it just feels like you're in a tank. It feels very strong and just powerful. As we're driving down, we're gonna check out and see how that track does. Remember, they've widened the track by offsetting the wheels and tires. Gives you a little bit more special high-speed stability. Handles great, visibility is great. I love seeing that hood bulge, even though it is a fake hood scoop, still looks good. But this thing drives so nicely. I would love to have this as a daily driver. Plenty of room, great look. Everything is positioned exactly where you want it to be. And you know what? Like I said earlier, with the amount of cars that have all of this computer assisted stuff, lane keep assist, all that stuff, it's great, but sometimes it's nice to just be in that nice old school feel. And this thing has it in heaps and heaps and heapfuls. This is a really wonderful driving vehicle. Comparing this to a Rubicon, Jeep Rubicon, much quieter, and definitely when it comes to the interior, things just feel a lot better in this 4Runner TRD Pro. You're also gonna get that great reliability, Toyota reliability. And interesting to say, how many cars can you say have a 5-speed automatic? But going through this little twisty section here, good steering feel, and it just drives nice. It's a really nice driving vehicle. It really shows how Toyota, it's been not a revolution, but a slow evolution. And I think what's really doing the business for us here is that Fox Racing suspension and those TRD springs. I mean, those two pieces of the puzzle are massive when it comes to ride quality and just overall drivability. Brakes feel great, visibility is a snap, and you know what? You don't have to fumble with AC controls because guess what? They're nice and large. You can even wear gloves. That's the thing they really look at who's gonna own this. So if you live in an area where it snows a lot, you could have your gloves on and still adjust these controls to turn the heat on with no problem. That's another nice little, just little things. Is the infotainment screen small? Yes. Is it lacking a bunch of 21st century technology? Yes. But this thing is a blast to drive, and the color, Voodoo Blue, I love it. Let me go ahead and get on the loud pedal. You're not winning any races, but that's not what this thing is about. This thing is about going off-road, doing some rock crawling. You got your awesome controls right here up top to do the rock crawl, to do the different terrain modes and whatnot. So that's really nice to have that very easily placed, and you feel comfortable. That's what I love about this. It feels really amazing in here. Guys, driving down this stretch of highway here, get on the throttle. Gauges are easy to read, just at a glance. Engine pulls all the way through the power band, and that's another wonderful thing. You think about vehicles today, everybody's switching to turbocharged engines, naturally aspirated. It's got that grunt down low, and it pulls all the way through the rev range, which is really great. And here I am cruising at 60, and you know what? Those TRD wheels with those off-road tires, it's not super noisy in here, which is great too. Love the size of the mirrors, give you great visibility, and they're shaped nicely. Just a great all-around. I probably sound like a Toyota fanboy right now. I like the rawness of this thing and how secure it feels. I mean, just unbelievable what Toyota has been able to do with this 4Runner. And not have to majorly redesign it since 2010. Do the math, that was 9 years ago. Where were you 9 years ago? I know where I was. All right, guys, I want to take you through a little twisty bit section here just to see how the 4Runner handles. It's not made for going down that canyon road, but we're going to test it out here. Feels good, not floaty. I'm getting good feedback from the wheel. Brakes feel nice. Nice and smooth, quiet. Look at this. This is great. This is really wonderful. So you can see that this thing is a real all-arounder, but unfortunately, we're at that point where I got to bring it back. I wish I could take it home and have it out in my garage. But we're going back to Wesley Chapel Toyota. I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been an outstanding day here at Wesley Chapel Toyota. Definitely got to give a huge thank you and a shout out to Jeff and Ryan for calling me as soon as this thing came off the truck, because guess what? Not every dealership gets these, especially in that all-new Voodoo Blue. If these are the types of things that you like to see on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give a big, huge shout out to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner. You know what? He went on this journey halfway around the world to discover one thing, that he needed to get back to Rady's Rides and get these things on the channel for you guys. So he's loving life, he's living large, and his arms are just getting bigger and bigger. So thank you, Tom, for all your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.